But the police be watching all my streams, so I gotta be careful, nigga. Matter of fact, what song I'm gonna play right now? The nigga charged me. Nothing charged me for this. I don't care. Nothing charged me for this. Everybody, North Korea flag in the chat. North Korea flag in the chat now. I want to see North Korea flag in the chat now.
Alright, so in today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at the situation that Johnny Somali is in now. And it's pretty insane because he's at a point now where he's basically facing 46 to 47 years in prison in South Korea, which is just absolutely insane. And this total amount is because of many different charges that were then, stacked up, and then it ended up with a total of this many years. So we're gonna talk about those details here today. And so without further ado, let's watch a clip related to one of the most important charges that I'm going to be discussing here. So check this out.
And a matter of fact, what song I'm going to play right now? Let the niggas charge me for this. Let the niggas charge me for this. Let the niggas charge me. Nothing charge me for this. I don't care. Let the charge me for this. Everybody, North Korea flag in the chat. North Korea flag in the chat now. I want to see North Korea flag in the chat now.
Alright, so as you just saw, Johnny Somali was on stream and he just straight up started playing North Korea affiliated music while being in South Korea, which is just absolutely crazy. And this is actually the same thing that he did once before, where he was outside in what I remember to be a subway station, and he started playing North Korean related music, which I think was the North Korean national anthem or something like that. And yeah, that is just not allowed because South Korea does not allow you to show anything that would support North Korea. So something like that, playing that type of music, that's not allowed. And in fact, it's actually illegal. And it's actually related to treason. Actually, they could consider that as treason, and this could be a national security related charge. So this is something where you could be under investigation for playing North Korean broadcast in public, or expressing pro North Korea sentiments. And so this is the kind of thing where you can actually be charged under South Korea's National Security Act. And so this is insane stuff because it could actually give you 5 to 10 years in prison charges. So yeah, this is insane stuff right here. And the crazy thing is that he's already done this once before. So this would be the second time that he did it, which is just crazy. This guy does not care, dude. He does not care. Like, he seriously just... he knows how insane of a situation he's gotten himself into, but at the same time he doesn't care, and he'll just keep committing offenses and keep racking up charges. It's like this guy is like playing some kind of video game, and he's just like out here straight up grinding XP. he's just getting more points. It's insane, man. And right now, I'm not laughing at the situation as a whole, because all the people that have had to deal with his nuisance and all the crazy things that he's done, of course, I feel bad for those people. But I'm just laughing at how much this guy is ruining his life, and he just seems to just not care. In his mind, it's all just one big joke for him. But the thing is that, man, honestly, I think the likelihood of him really getting out of this one is pretty low, because I think that he has ended up building up like this false sort of confidence that he'll get out of this situation because of all the other crazy situations he's gotten out of in the past, right? So South Korea isn't the only country where he went and he started doing all these crazy things. He's been doing this all over the world in many foreign nations. He's from the US, right? And so he goes to all these foreign countries and he does all this crazy stuff there. But this time, I think, given just how bad things are for him, I would be surprised if he gets out of this one, honestly. Now, real quick, I just want to say that I'm giving out shoutouts on this channel to people who subscribe, hit the notification bell, and then comment letting me know that they subscribed. If you do this, in the next video, I'll give you a shoutout. Now, for one of the videos I made in the past, I'm gonna give out a shoutout to CPT Flag 45 Official. Thanks for the comment and thanks for the subscribe. Also, it's cool how the comment was from back when I didn't have 1,000 subs yet. So, hey, thanks for wishing me that I'll reach it soon. And hey, guess what? Good news. Now I have 1,000 subs. So that's pretty cool. Now anyway, back to the video. Okay, so the next clip that I'm about to show you is related to the deepfake situation that Johnny Somali is in. So check out this clip and then we'll discuss it later.
But the police be watching all my streams, so I gotta be careful, nigga. If I share an AI somebody sends an AI to my Discord and I show it to the stream, it's a crime. Korea can suck my.
Alright, so as you just saw, Johnny Somali confirmed that the police are actually now watching his streams. So that's how crazy of a situation this guy's put himself into, man. Like, imagine clout chasing so hard that the police now start watching your streams and you're being monitored by them, dude. That's absolutely crazy, dude. And so yeah, he says how the police are now watching his streams, and he's now in a situation where he just has to make sure that no deep fakes are being shown in his streams, because he's already shown those before and he ended up in trouble because of that. And so yeah, he's got to make sure not to do that, because that's a crime and he's being monitored. So just one more slip up and he's cooked. And so now the thing about this is that in the past he actually shared deepfake AI footage that he just created of him and the Korean streamer BongBong kissing. Alright, so again, keep in mind, this is AI deepfake, okay? It's completely fake. It's fabricated. It's something that he just created, generated digitally himself. It never happened, right? So he just created this whole thing and then he got charged for it. And out of respect, I'm not gonna show that footage. But yeah, it's crazy stuff that he did, man. It's really, really messed up. And the thing about him is that just when you think that he can't do anything crazier, he just ends up surprising you. So yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the total prison sentence that he's facing, this contributes to that. So he's now dealing with many different charges, and so there's lots and lots of years from different charges that are now being stacked together, and then you get the total amount of years that he's facing. And so yeah, he's facing quite a lot of years from this as well. And these weren't the only charges that he's facing. These were just the ones that I mentioned in this video. But yeah, online you can see just so many different charges and crazy things that he's done. Like, not even just overall, specifically in South Korea, just the things that he's done there in South Korea alone are just so insane. And there's just so many of them. And I really can't cover every single one in just one video. But another one that I'm going to be covering here is related to the Japanese streamer named Nana, where Johnny Somali just kept following her around and bothering her. And he was just really making her uncomfortable, even mentioning Hiroshima and Nagasaki to really, really make her uncomfortable, because she is Japanese. And Nana mentioned how she actually reported him to the police. And so yeah, this is yet another case of something really horrible and crazy that Johnny Somali was doing in South Korea. And it's pretty insane, man. Just the fact that this guy comes up with just new and more insane ways to bother people is just pretty crazy. Honestly, you really begin to think like, damn, like all of his energy really goes into just thinking of like the next crazy thing to do. And it's pretty insane to me just seeing all of this. And it's pretty shocking that so far he hasn't, ended up in South Korean prison. It's just one of those things where, it takes a very long time for the legal system to really get anything done. It takes a very long time. There's all these like procedures and protocols and things like that, and so there's one step and then the next one and the next one, and because of just the nature of all of this, it takes a very long time. It's this systematic process, and it's good in the sense that this protects people who are like falsely accused, because the reason that these systems take so long is because they're built so that if someone really is innocent but they've been accused or charged with something that they didn't do, because of how slow and systematic the process is, it's supposed to protect those kinds of people, right? And it's supposed to be like this very fair process. But then the side effect of that is that in situations like this, it ends up really benefiting the person who's done some crazy stuff like this, because there's all this extra time that person has then, and so it's really easy for them to do a bunch of crazy stuff and not really have to face the consequences immediately, or at least there's all these other things that they can do with like hiring lawyers and putting forth their case, and there's all this back and forth and stuff like that. So this is taking a lot of time because of that. And I am personally pretty like surprised that even all this time later Johnny Somali still isn't like in prison or something, because you did see how Vitali ended up in jail in the Philippines, right? So that's a pretty big example of how like a lot of these countries are beginning to really get sick and tired of nuisance streamers from other places going there and then bothering the locals and all this stuff for clout. But in the Philippines they were like, what, we've had enough, and Vitali, you're going to jail, and I made a video on that, you can check that out. But basically they were like, what, we're gonna make an example out of Vitali so that no other streamer comes to the Philippines and acts like a nuisance streamer and bothers people. And I think that for the Philippines it's gonna work out, because I saw personally just how much press coverage there was for Vitali's arrest, and just how much people online were talking about it. And so I think that South Korea might actually have to do something like that for streamers to then take South Korea seriously as well, and for nuisance streamers to be like, okay, wait a second, we can't get away with that stuff in this country. So guys, we'll have to just wait and see what happens. But as I said before in this video, the charges are racking up. The public is really, really angry at Johnny Somali, and it seems like the criminal justice system and all that, they're really mad at him too. He's definitely in the crosshairs of the police, because they're, as he just said himself, they're watching his streams. So now he has to watch every move of his. So he's in a pretty crazy situation now, and he's really on thin ice now. I would be really surprised if he gets out of this situation, to be honest. But hey, you never know with these things, because Johnny Somali in the past did actually get away with this stuff in other countries. But this time, to be honest, things do seem different, because he's in a really, really crazy situation now in South Korea. So I don't know. I think that he's not going to be able to get away with this, but at the same time, there is a non-zero probability that he does, although we'll have to just wait and see. And so those were my thoughts on this situation, but I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on this situation down in the comments below. So let me know down there what you think, and we can have a discussion down there. And with all that being said, guys, this is Alexi signing out.